record. Let's go to the starting screen. Okay, we are back and hopefully actually able to do stuff this episode. Since last episode we totally lost to the Ethernet, Etherweb, Ether, just the Aether. I am your game master as always, Jeff Harvey, and this is Star Trek Europa. Anybody want to go introduce themselves again since we failed to do it last time and it didn't matter because maybe that's the curse. Maybe that's why it didn't work. So, let's start with Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm playing Captain Jorad Hage. I'm happy to be back and very excited for the session.
I think you've gotten a haircut since last session.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
All right, John, go ahead.
Okay, John McKnight playing Science Officer Kasriana Shabarneba.
Ev.
Evelyn Corbin playing the CMO, Desavi Onayet.
And Jack.
Yep. Hello, I am Jack. I am playing Commander Ronnie Ambrose, the first officer and perpetual thorn in my captain's side.
Yes.
You can also find me over at my own channel, The People's Ascension, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension, mainly on Saturday, 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern. It looks like my camera's already freezing, so we're off to a good start.
Good start.
Hey.
Yeah, Saturdays, 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern, D&D, The People's Ascension. And I do all kinds of other stuff throughout the week, so you can check out the schedule there.
Yep. And there's a link on our YouTube to his stuff as well. For those of you who were asking the other day about the Star Trek STA Engage, that will be back in 2 weeks. We'll do about 6 episodes, and we'll take the season break. So just consider this a mid-season break, but we will be back. I've got the episodes written, and I'm just scheduling guests to appear. So that show will be back eventually. And on that note, where did we last leave our intrepid adventurers? Or in this case, not intrepid, because I don't like those ships. But you guys.
We had sent the initial away team over, which consisted of the commander, Cass, Yezbeth, and Mills.
Everybody who needed to be on this mission.
Yes.
And nobody else.
Cass got herself appointed as the administrator, so we could poke around some places, but the ship was not interested in appointing the commander as the head of security.
Was overqualified.
Overqualified. The captain hailed over and asked how things were going, and then decided that it was necessary, absolutely necessary, and totally safe for him to bring himself and another secondary crew over. So the captain and O'Connor and some red shirts and some engineers came over, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yezbeth took herself on a little adventure and found the giant forest room. And then we all transported over into the center ring, right?
A town.
Yeah, the town was in the center ring.
Not the center ring. That's where the engineering stuff was. The middle ring.
Okay.
We went to the center ring first. We investigated the power supply.
And then,
Got you.
And then we beamed over to the town.
Right.
Okay. So we had left off in the town, kind of meandering through decrepit buildings and some very large, strange footprints.
Mm-hmm.
And until we found ourselves at a very blood-filled lake that appeared to have a couple of recycling towers at the edge of it. We also learned that the station had initiated several protocols to help preserve the essentials of the station. Stage 3 and 4 included getting rid of everything that was too much of a drain, including all of the people.
If I may add to that, well, we found this station that seems to be the last remains of a civilization. They seem to have retreated to this civilization at some point, and over the span of many generations, the population dwindled as the station seemed to try to preserve itself over the inhabitants of the station. So we have found hints that the population was recycled or eliminated in order to conserve the ecosystem of natural materials that makes up the outer ring. And we're investigating, trying to figure out what may have happened here, even though it appears all sentient life has been going for thousands of years.
We also severed the link from the station to Eva just to make sure the station didn't convince her that she should do likewise.
Mm-hmm. We have managed to ingratiate ourselves to the computer to a certain degree, although it seems to be locking us out of important systems, and so we are suspicious, but so far it has not taken any actions against us.
Right.
We also have our own personal life support modules for everybody, and at least the security officers and myself, Ambrose, have Type 3 phasers, the phaser rifles.
Right.
Which is why you have a ridiculous amount of threat.
Yes.
Although that's really the amount that I'm supposed to start with. So.
Yeah, I think you were actually higher last game.
I used some. Yes, we have used some.
Okay.
In fact, what I used some for was what happens next.
Hooray!
Yay.
As the as you are, let's go ahead and start out with the Europa. Let's start on the ship. Who is left in charge of the ship at the moment?
Nobody.
Right. It's pure chaos.
We got Koba up there doing bong hits in the officer's chair.
I think it would be Kostra, the chief engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe that's who we said. Yes. So, where we got Kostra here? Boom. Captain Pirate Cap. I don't know. That just makes me think pirate, all like Pirates of the Caribbean pirates. So Kostra, you are in charge. You are on the bridge. Your science officer at the moment, which can be another player if they have a science officer that isn't currently being used.
I think all of the PC science staff are on the station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is specialist Varen. She has she has good science. She's not Starfleet, and she's mainly a xenoanthropologist, but she can do other things. I'm sure she's a Vulcan.
Sure, but this will be a Starfleet matter to start with. So
Okay, cool.
You
Gotcha.
can maybe switch over later, but also we have the pool. I'll get back to that. Your science officer looks is continually beeping something on their main console, and you can hear the beep, and you can hear that rejection beep over and over and over and over, and a bunch of extra beeping, like, someone's typing around trying to do something, and then another rejection, another rejection, another rejection. Finally, they look up at you and said, what is Kostra's title? Lieutenant, we are unable to sever the connection between the station and Eva at this time.
Cloud, damn it. You sure you can't manage it? It doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to...
There is an intruded... I'm finding a program that is not part of Eva's programming that is overriding my connection. We would have to sever it manually.
Well, I suppose we've got two choices. Do nothing, or you go down there and get that fixed. I think somebody's going to need to get their hands dirty.
Okay.
I'll do it myself.
Okay. And she keeps hitting the button and typing and hitting the button. Oh, go ahead.
I think he'll call Ensign Tong to assist.
Okay. I made him very big for some reason. So Tong, you get a request, I guess, from acting captain.
Yes, Ensign Tong here. How can I help you?
Meet me down at the communications junction corridor. We're going to have to do a manual disconnect.
Aye, sir. On my way. Be right there. On my way.
He's going to point to probably Lucius Falks and says, Ensign, can you hold down the bridge?
Absolutely, sir.
First taste of command.
Right into the big chair.
All right. As you guys are heading down there, we'll come back to you guys shortly. And that brings us back over to, oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and do our intro, and then we'll come back. So. Okay. So when we last left people on the station, we had recently discovered this. The smell is surprisingly not as bad as you would expect for, I mean, it's who knows how long that's actually been recycling the freshness of the blood. Since the station has been abandoned for a super long time. Hang on. I have to mute everyone from talking to me. There we go. So, remind me again, who is seeing this? We've got Ambrose. Who else?
Jorah.
Hage, yes.
And Kaz, I think so.
Kaz.
Yeah, Mills and O'Connor both. Yeah.
Mills.
I think everybody who is on the station is
O'Connor.
Together at this point.
Right, I don't have that.
Yeah,
I don't have
yeah,
that list, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Yesbeth. She's also there.
Everybody except like the 4 people we've talked about on the ship.
Right.
And the mop.
and the mop.
Yeah. No one heard the mop thing during the, so that's a surprise to everybody else.
Oh.
It'll be on the audio recording version though. All right. So, yeah, that's what's going on. What are you guys going to do?
Kaz would like to take some readings and figure out exactly what that is, if it is what it looks like it is.
Sure. Give me a science of some variety roll.
Okay. No focuses are going to apply. So yeah, let's just do that and see what happens. Okay.
2 successes. All right. Yeah, so you have 2 questions. What do you want to know? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. One, what are the structures doing?
They appear to be some sort of pump. They're pulling something. They're pulling up something from below.
Whoa. And 2, what is the material?
It appears to largely be blood and bones. And water. Yeah. So you also have studious, I think, right?
Yes.
So you get 1 more.
Okay. How deeply can that scan go to determine what is below that it is pulling from?
Yeah. Probably about 25 to 30 meters below where you are right now, there appears to be some sort of containment where there are there are organic readings, but not living biosigns.
Okay. Well, that doesn't really tell us any more than what we knew now, she will say, and pass on the results of her readings.
Perhaps we should ask the computer what this is. Even if it lies, it'll give us a little bit of insight.
Do we have an interface over here?
You set it up so that you could interface through your tricorders, I recall.
Okay. Yeah, then Kaz will ask the computer, using her admin authority, to explain what the device and the process is.
This is a water reclamation and recycling plant. The tank is there are 2 tanks below. One is a water containment. The other is biological disposal.
Looks like you got your pipes crossed, computer.
There appears to be a malfunction in the containment fields that separated the tanks. This containment failure appears to have happened in the last day.
Well, let's offer to fix it for him.
Computer, we would like to engage in system repairs. Do we have full authorization and access?
Authorization and access granted. Off to the side, a piece of the ground actually raises up, like one of the like the phone booth things that come out of the concrete from I don't remember what movie that was, but one of those movies that happens in.
Computer, what caused the malfunction?
Intermittent power interruptions.
Can you trace the cause of those interruptions?
Degradation of the energy distribution network.
I see. We'll be sure and get that fixed for you, computer.
Remarkable coincidence, Captain.
Well, let's not jump to any conclusions. It could be that this computer is on a closed network. If people died, whether it was as a result of the computer or just as a result of entropy, it could just be recycling the organic material.
Oh yeah, I'm more concerned that the apparent failure happened the day before the first people in thousands of years arrived. I mean, it had to fail sometime, but that's straining probability.
Coincidences do happen, Cass.
But they do, sir.
Let's check it out. The metal will always tell.
So who's going down?
Jorad, definitely.
And Ambrose.
And Cass.
Mills looks at Ambrose. Sir, do you want me to stay up here, or would you like me to go with you?
Stay up here. Just keep an eye on things. Report down to us if there's any movement up here.
Yes, sir.
Sherbinawa, not Sherbinawa. Chierka, you stay with him, or her.
O'Connor, Chirka, take some samples while we're busy.
Aye, Commander.
All right. The three of you fit into the descent tube. It's a bit of a tight fit, but you can certainly do it. Oops, that's the wrong folder. I don't have a picture of that. All right. Excuse me. As you descend, it turns back. You start seeing the material, the wall material that you saw before. So rather than being the large open skied field that you're seeing, it is mechanical in design and whatnot, and it looks very similar to the wall style that I showed you guys earlier. So it's this sort of material, this sort of appearance, the grays and the reds and stuff like that. You descend. What your tricorder reads is the appropriate distance, and when you exit, there is a small control room with large pipes and tubes that go in and around the walls. In front of you, there is a large glass, or what appears to be glass anyways, transparency looking into two, actually it's a series of tanks. There appear to be two primary tanks, and each of those primary tanks is divided by what appears to be an energy field, or it should be divided by an energy field. One of them has a failed energy field, and the material in both appear to have mingled. In the other, you can still see the energy field up, and there are a number of what appear to be bodies suspended in rows. And by suspended, I mean they're literally just kind of free-floating in some kind of suspension. They are at different levels. There are 10 levels. They are about 15 deep. They appear to still be intact. And the energy field between there's energy field between that and the water, or what appears to be water. But otherwise, there's nothing dividing the two sections.
And they look like the original inhabitants of this station.
They do.
Okay.
They're vaguely humanoid, as I described before.
How large is this chamber, and how well illuminated is it?
The chamber you're currently in, or the chamber that is holding the suspensions?
The chamber we're in.
It's about 15 feet by about 8 feet. It's clearly some kind of control and access center. It's well lit, and it does still have power. Although some of the councils one of the councils in particular appears to be flickering a bit.
Okay. While they all get to work, I'm going to just walk the perimeter of the room and see if I find any like false panels where security drones could pop out of, or aliens hiding in the walls, or anything.
Sure. Go ahead and give me an insight roll. And then
Insight.
what were we going to say, Hage?
Those bodies seem remarkably well preserved. Cass, why don't you take a look at them, see if you can figure out what did them in.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm going to fix this console.
Kaz is not the person you want doing medicine checks, but if it's a science thing, she will be very, very good at that.
I would say, all right, hey, Ambrose, you find nothing, and you'll gain 1 momentum.
Cool.
So Kaz, give me a medicine would be ideal, but I'll give you science with an increased of 1 difficulty, but you can use whatever attribute you want to use for that.
Okay. Yeah, between her science of 5 and her medicine of 1, I think I'm going to call that one.
Right. So let's say the difficulty is going to be 3, and I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 threat to make it 4.
Okay. How'd y'all feel about my spending momentum to counter that threat?
Do it.
All right.
All right, so that gives you 3 dice to roll.
3. I don't think her focus and first contact is going to apply.
No.
Yeah,
I was debating computer systems, but I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay.
3
I'll take the 3.
successes. Does anyone Hage, are you assisting at all?
No, I think I am going to continue. Well, yeah, no, I'll assist. But I'm going to look like I'm messing with the console. So
Gotcha.
And she can re-roll the one she bought just in case it turns into a crit, which it does not do. Okay.
Okay, well, Hage didn't help anyway. But with a tricorder, I'm going to say that you get information, but it's going to be somewhat limited. So what you detect is that the bodies appear to have expired due to a lack of perfusion. The liquid suspension they are in appears to be some sort of I don't know how to describe it because oxygen isn't the right terminology. Like oxygenated, it's an oxygenated system of fluid, and they appear to be in some sort of. They appear to.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? It's a suspension liquid. They were in suspension. They stopped having enough air. They died.
Gotcha.
That's what you got.
Okay.
The technicals of it are you failed to get.
Fair enough. All right, that seems fairly straightforward, and it matches with what we're seeing with the 2 systems commingling and breaking down. So she will pass that on to the captain and ask if she can assist him with the computer systems.
That would be extremely helpful. I would like to roll control engineering. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Should Kaz assist with science or engineering?
Either one.
Okay. Well, then science with her focus in computer systems.
What's the difficulty?
What exactly were you trying to do again?
Get it operable.
Yep.
Okay, the divider wall on the other one, right?
Yeah, whatever thing is broken, I want to fix it.
Okay. So it's basically like an OPS, EPS conduit kind of deal. So go ahead and I'll say the difficulty is probably just 1.
Okay.
Cool. Oof. Ow.
So I get 1 something there. All right. So what is that? 2 successes for Hage?
Yep.
Okay. And then a complication from Kaz. All right. So you get the council lights back up. You move a couple of lines around, like a couple of little hoses around, and you manage to reroute past what looks like a corrupted regulator of some sort. The council comes back online, and then you hear an energy field come on, and you can see the now division in the other chamber. It's a little late for that to do much, but you definitely see that comes back online. And I'm going to just take the threat for the complication.
So does it, I would like to spend a momentum to try and get additional information. I would like to know if this malfunction was just wear and tear or if it seemed to be some kind of sabotage.
Okay. I will actually not make you spend momentum for that. So it definitely appears to just have been a part that is worn out.
Okay. And so this seems, it's possible that this part being worn out is what ended the suspension of the people and expired them.
Probably didn't expire them, but definitely caused the breakdown. So the two systems were the two tanks were intermingled, which then caused them to be chopped up by the processing units and all that stuff. But they were almost certainly expired prior to that. They appear to both be effects of just long-term entropy.
Okay. Well, I will calm the computer and say, well, that's one part fixed. We'll have you right as rain soon enough.
Are there similar systems that have malfunctioned and or similar systems that may still be operational with the former inhabitants in stasis?
At this time, we find no biological function in any of the stasis chambers.
What happened to the people in the stasis chambers, computer? The more we know about what happened here, the more helpful it will be in getting you fixed.
Maintaining a breathable atmosphere within the suspension fluids was cost inefficient.
Well, do you ever regret the doing so?
The quantity of life saved compared to the quantity of life lost, there is no comparison.
But surely if those people were alive, they may have been able to maintain your systems better than, say, the trees.
The biological life forms that were in suspension did not have the required skills. Generational knowledge had been lost.
I'm sure you could have taught them. Did you consider that?
At no point was an educational program instituted by any of the administrators.
Well, if we were to institute something like that, would you be willing to change your priorities from preserving all life versus creating a higher priority category for maintaining sentient life?
A category for skilled maintenance can be created.
Well, but as I just said, if somebody's unskilled, they can be taught.
That would be determined based on the amount of time required to maintain a minimum proficiency.
Well, I'm sure we can work something like that up. If I was to show you something if I was to show you a way that that sentient beings could be taught to upkeep your systems, would you be willing to put them into a higher category? All sentient life?
There's the computer begins to speak for a second, and then there's a slight glitch sound, and you hear Eva's voice. That would be an acceptable parameter, Captain Hage. And then it glitches back out.
Well, that's certainly good.
Ambrose to the Europa. I'm even cutting Hage off. Ambrose to the Europa. What is the status of our communications? In fact, I'm not even using the narrow bandwidth. I'm seeing if I can get through in our normal communications because I told them to turn it off.
Right.
Yep.
Standard communications is not functional. The narrow band, though, go ahead and let's go back to the ship. And Tong and Kostra. Let me see if I got these guys here. Kostra and Tong are currently in the communications ductwork, essentially, trying to dismantle disconnect the connection, the remote connection from the station. And I've lost Tong. He's just gone. He's apparently gotten eaten by something. There he is. So the two of you can give me a roll. This is happening right before the communication. Engineering. Let me see what else we got here. I'll say engineering or security for an assist. Somebody could use security as an assist if you wanted to. Otherwise, engineering is the way to go.
Okay. So since I'm head of the department, I believe that gives me advantage, correct? Or are you using the rule from the Klingon book?
That's fine. Either way.
Okay. I would like to spend a momentum.
Okay. Your difficulty is going to be, I'm going to say it was 4. It's 3 due to your having advantage. You're spending 1 momentum. And that's fine. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. That's 3.
So if that's engineering plus daring, that would be 3 successes.
Yep. And Tong, are you assisting?
Yeah, I assume that's why I'm down here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Would control engineering work?
Sure.
All right.
Meanwhile, Coster is going to be, you lucky officers with your, you lucky Starfleet types with your corridors. Back in my day, we had we went through cave shafts. You have no idea how narrow those could get. I've got my back cramps have back cramps.
Would my focus in electroplasma power systems work for this? If we're taking a sort of controlled overload or controlled power drain approach rather than mechanically breaking it.
Right. I would say that would only work if you're actually discontinuing power to the system. If you're trying to maintain communications but make the disconnection, no.
Okay. Well, Tong's just following whatever the chief is.
So Chief, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to disconnect and maintain communications, or are you just shutting it down?
Disconnect and maintain communications.
All right. So I'm going to say no to the focus.
Then I have a 16. What do we got here?
You just roll 1 die, but we'll take the 4.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Assists are always just 1 die.
Right.
So we'll take the 4. That counts as an assist, as a success. So that gives you guys 4 successes, which is 1 momentum. And you manage to sever the connection right about the time that on the broadband connection, the broadband communication, the narrow band is picking it up. But the broadband, from a broadband stream, you are picking up Ambrose. That's Kostra.
Oh, how's it going over there, Commander?
We just got a glitch that sounded like Eva while we were talking to the station's AI. What's the status of our program's integrity and our communications with the station?
Well, we had a little bit of trouble breaking the connection. Something was keeping it open, but we've severed it now.
Any way to look into what that was?
That's going to require a computer expert, but I'm sure we can manage.
All right. Look into it.
Aye, aye. He'll turn Tong. Boy, how are you good with? How good are you with computer systems?
I'm very good at building and taking them apart.
Well, it's time to diversify. And then he'll begin crawling towards the computer core. They're going to figure it out one way or the other.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Back aboard the station. That was the information you got from that. So we'll go back to the station and we'll minimize Tong this time instead of deleting Tong.
Mhm.
So,
What am I hearing?
sounds like geese.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Like somebody is hiding an entire flock of angry geese like 3 rooms over.
Or somebody
They're,
doing this on a squeaky chair.
they're literally right outside my window. So,
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't some like weird feedback happening.
yeah. Yeah.
No.
But all right, as long as it's actual geese,
I
Brian
I'll
is
do
just
anything
minutes
about
away
it.
from being eaten by geese is all.
I apologize.
we will record this and think fondly of you, Brian.
Yes, yes. I will not turn the camera off at all. We're going viral, baby. Nerd eaten by geese. All right. Anyways, you guys are aboard the station. You had just heard the voice of Eva, and Ambrose just contacted the ship to try to find out why, and was told that they're working on it.
Yep. At least hopefully now she's actually disconnected.
They're the angriest geese.
I'm gonna Jorad's going to look to Cass and he's going to say, we need to figure out, if we're going to get any long-term use out of this station, we are going to have to reprogram its priorities. Obviously, we can do that the nice way, or we can do it the not nice way. Are you able to get through its? Do you think you'd be able to get through its programming in order to change them? I know it locked us out. I know it said we were locked out before. Would you be able to manually override that?
This could be considered in hostile action.
Well,
It's good to know ahead of time if we can do it, but if we start, this could become enemy-controlled territory very quickly.
Particularly since it doesn't seem to want to give us control over its own defensive systems. That's my greatest concern. In terms of working with the system, we've done well with Eva so far, so I think with my administrator access and with our understanding of the system, limited as it is, we can certainly try. What the consequences of that are going to be in terms of defensive systems, I have to agree with the commander on this one. We just don't know. And without those under our control, I'm concerned about taking action. But I could certainly investigate to see what the extent of our influence on it right now might be.
Yeah, that's definitely worth thinking about. Let's. Does anybody have any ideas on on how we should go about that?
I'll let you guys think it through, and we'll go back upstairs real quick. That way you guys have a chance to think.
Sure.
So upstairs with our other group, let me put these away in groups so that I know where everybody's at. Without having maps, it's a challenge. So the thrice of you, which is 2 of Evelyn.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No, I mean it makes tactical sense.
As you're running around doing your scans and collecting information,
Mills is probably exasperatedly trying to divide her attention as the 2 scientists are squirreling around.
As you were doing that, you come across, I'm going to say that Elizabeth and Mills, in their moving about, come across just over a ridge, this thing.
Oh,
Well, I think we found the welcome wagon.
Right.
It does not appear to be moving at the moment. For scale, it's hard to tell in that picture, but I would say that Mills is probably about as tall as that bottom part of the foot.
Oh, yay.
So, Yesbeth will look to Mills and say, well, I don't know what that is, but I don't think we should touch it.
I would agree.
Maybe the height of the leg, the whole leg. Probably the height of the whole leg.
The whole leg.
Yeah.
I would like to scan it. Can I scan it from where I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tricorders are for.
Okay. I mean, I
got
don't know how
range.
far we are and what the range is.
Yeah. Tricorder range is as deemed appropriate for the scene.
Okay. Right. We're doing a scan. So, insight or control?
What information are you trying to gain? Or you just want general information?
Yeah, probably just general information to start. I mean, obviously just observing it. It's got guns and looks angry. It's clearly we found the security system.
Right. Insight.
Okay. So that is engineering, Evelyn. 12.
A 12.
That's
not what you roll. That's what you have.
Right. Right.
I was confused.
Tactical systems and or security systems as focuses would count. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a rule? Does anybody know about synergy of
There
focuses?
we go.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There should be one. 2 8s. 8 eyes. So 2 successes, you get 2 questions. The first thing I can tell you is it does not appear to be powered on.
Okay.
But that there is an active energy source within it.
Okay.
So that's a freebie.
Is it linked to the rest of the security systems? Could we theoretically, of course, use it as a backdoor to access the rest of the security systems?
Ooh.
Possibly. There is definitely some sort of radio transmission going to it, but not from it. That is not to say that there couldn't be one, but presently, because it is not active, it does not appear as though there is an a radio source going away from it. It is, however, the system somewhere is sending messages to it.
Right. Well, I'll mention maybe that's a possibility.
What sort of weapons systems does it have?
They appear to be both energy and projectile based. So it has energy. It has some energy and some projectile based weapons.
Okay.
So.
Can she get detailed enough to tell whether they're phasers or disruptors?
They are most assuredly some sort of disruptor.
Okay.
And then the projectiles are, basically rail guns.
Yeah. Okay.
Non-powdered, non-powder projectiles.
I think those are our questions. If it's all right with the crew, I would like to use momentum to ask what sort of defensive systems it has.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are not detecting any kind of energy shield, but you are detecting thick armor. Should be fairly susceptible to any phasers set over like level 6 or so.
Would she also get electronic warfare defenses with that question?
As whether it has them?
Right.
Without it being powered on, it's hard to say.
Gotcha.
You can see by looking at it, it probably has some sort of countermeasure device for incoming projectiles. But as far as like stopping communications or energy weapons like that, it doesn't. You can't see anything from where it's at, from the position. Without taking it apart, you wouldn't be able to tell from the scans. If something was powered on, maybe, but you could take the chance of trying to power it on if you want. But that's
No, I think I'd like to not do that.
that's kind of. Do you want to do that? You don't see any emitters. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Is there anything apparent around it that would indicate what might activate it?
No.
Like any sort. Okay.
No, it is, however, plugged into something. Like that cable coming off of it
Is
actually
there?
coming off of it. Yeah, it's plugged into something, and it is rusty.
Yeah.
Would it fit in our cargo bay?
Yes, it would.
Because I would like it. Can we keep it, please?
Ambrose got a puppy.
Uh-huh.
Your brand new Tamagotchi. Don't let that one start.
Who's a
So
good,
I will-
terrifying giant robot?
I will calm the commander on our, or I guess, are we just,
What's going on with my camera tonight?
You
You
have that
are
narrow band
struggling.
communication.
yeah. So I will contact commander through that when he's done fixing his camera.
Oh, I'm still here. Go ahead and talk.
Okay. Sir, we have found one of the sentinels, it appears. It is presently powered down, but does appear to have an active power source in it, so presumably could be powered up at any moment. It is plugged into something. I can't quite see from where we are what it's plugged into. It appears to, from initial scans, largely use disruptors and projectile weapons. Doesn't appear to have any sort of shields. Should be easy enough to take down if need be, but with a strong phaser setting 6 or so.
This is Captain Hage. Get detailed scans of the schematics for our databases, but by all means, don't touch it.
I did not intend to, sir.
Keep an eye out for any surveillance detection as well. Motion sensors, infrared, anything that could detect your approach.
Yes,
if
sir.
possible, get a visual on what this is plugged into, but don't, as the captain said, don't touch anything.
No. How far would you like us to venture from your location before we stop and come back?
We'll leave that to your discretion.
There is also an undetermined number of other security personnel with us.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
I forgot we have a bunch of non-coms.
So
Not the others.
can we take a moment out of character to discuss what our goal is for this whole thing? Because
Good
I
idea. Yeah.
want to make sure we stay on task. It seems like a good final goal is for us to change the computer's priorities to value sentient life and then move on to the next thing. But what do you all think about that?
Well, here's the one thing I was thinking is it has indicated that people with guest status are free to leave,
Mhm.
even with administrator status.
Mhm.
So as long as it's drawing enough power for life support for however many Starfleet people would be here, there's no problem. And if we've gotten the immediate sort of power conduit issues up and fixed, it's generating lots of power. So, maybe it couldn't run an entire civilization, but it could certainly, it doesn't seem like a science team or even a small starbase team would be a drain on system resources so that we would have to even worry about whether it's keep preserving the trees.
We could
So-
certainly make the argument that we've done everything we can do now and we might as well head out.
Which is,
I-
I think, a discussion I think we should have in character.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to talk about it out of character because
To figure out where we want to go with that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think there's definitely more things that need to be done before we phone home and be like, it's all cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we,
And one
we-
is making sure that somebody other than Kaz can have administrator status.
and, get an assessment on the AI and see if we can gain control of the security forces, because as long as those security forces aren't in our control, they're in
That's a problem.
potentially enemy control.
okay. So our objective is to gain control of the security systems in order to make sure in order to facilitate a future study.
Sounds good.
So is that okay?
I'm good with
Yeah.
that.
I'm all for, preserving the station and getting other Starfleet personnel on here. Ambrose, his only priority is keeping everybody alive. He
Right.
has no other concerns beyond that.
Yeah.
Anything else is a secondary objective.
Okay.
I'm kind of in the similar boat. Like Evelyn thinks this is a great plan. I'm excited to see where it's going. O'Connor is totally on board. Like this is great. Mills thinks this is a terrible life choice and we should all just leave.
Okay.
Kaz really wants to play with the AI, and in particular to see if it would